Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. Roll call. Tom Keegan. Tom,
We can't hear you too well, Darlene.
you can't hear me?
It's
How
low.
about now?
Perfect.
That better?
Yep.
Okay, we're calling roll call. Call the meeting to order at 7:04. Roll call. Tom Keegan.
Here.
Kadeem Roberts.
Present.
John Kites.
Here.
George Theodoris.
Here.
I said it wrong. George Sirenides.
Here.
Okay, and myself, we're all present. Hopefully Manny will join us. Approval of the minutes from October 14, 2020.
I'll move that.
Second? Do we second it?
We don't need seconds.
All in favor?
Go to your second.
All in favor? All right, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions? Anyone on for public participation?
There is one person on, Diane. I'm going to unmute you and you can speak.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Chairwoman Young. I wanted to just request once again that the Eversource tree management on public property item be briefly discussed during the discussion section. I have heard that might be taking place. If you'll just indulge me one moment about why it's important, just have a brief update. And that is, first of all, I just wanted to include my communication to Nick Roberts dated December 8th and the council members dated, it's the same email dated December 7th for the record.
Okay,
It's not-
Diane, can I just, for one moment, just so that we're clear, public participation is usually for folks who are addressing items on the agenda, but we do know that this has been an issue for the last few days that myself and Chairman Sirenides of the Public Works Committee and Nick Roberts and others have been discussing. And so we would like to have that, if that's what you want to discuss, I'd like us to go through our agenda. And George, and then we can have that brief discussion.
Well,
We'll allow that.
Madam
Unless
Chair-
you talk about it now, because we won't have a long discussion about this, because it is a ongoing issue right now. So I will give you the 3 minutes now. You can read what you read and we'll move forward then. We'll do it that way.
okay, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. First of all, you might want to review how discussion items are listed. It is being done differently in this committee than it is other committees, and the public doesn't, they may be interested in a topic just to listen in on, but I know you'll do the right thing in your next agenda item next month. Please include my communications. This is not just about 8 trees, but it's about a management process. And it is a culmination of many years of Eversource and Oak Hills and other projects related to public trees not being discussed fully enough in order to weigh reasonable alternatives. Trees serve many functions, not just for birds and wildlife, but for carbon capture, to reduce temperature, to improve water quality, etc. I know there have been many good discussions, and I appreciate the time taken by all of you and the staff to deal with this recent issue with Eversource. I know you're trying to help find solutions, but I don't want to leave out, and I hope you will not leave out citizens, so that we, citizens, especially some of us that have special knowledge and abilities, both professionally and altruistically, that you represent, should have a place at the table as well. I'm still doing research about, as a former regular, I'm doing research about the right-of-way tree management that a utility enjoys because I believe that their protestations are not quite what they're telling our city staff. But I'm working on that, and I will send it to you as soon as I know it. I'm awaiting information from my friends around the state who are biologists and arborists to help in our path to try to find the best way to manage our trees in the city of Norwalk and on public parks. I am very happy to collaborate and cooperate with all of you, but it should go both ways. And I think in this case, the new process that Anthony Carr, the tree warden, has proposed, I think is a great first step, but it was because of citizens like me who suggested it. So on occasion, a tip of the hat to the citizens would be welcome, as well as the saying thank you goes both ways. And I thank you for this time you're allowing me today. And I hope you will reach out to those of us that care about this in the near future in a meaningful way. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, anyone else, Larry, for public participation?
No, there is no one else.
Right. Thank you. So we're gonna move on to new business. 5A1, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to enter into a contract with Classic Turf Company LLC for project number 4073, Brian McMahon High School tennis courts for a sum not to exceed $435,000, base bid $400,000, add alternative 1, drainage work for $35,000, account numbers noted. Someone move that out. Thank you, George. Discussion, Tom? You're on mute. Oh, well, I didn't hear you, Tom.
Hey, everyone, sorry.
Hi, Manny.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna move it.
So Nick, can you tell us a little bit more about the courts? I know we've been talking about this project for a while now, and we're at the point where we're moving forward with it, and it's the field that we already discussed, right? The material that we brought up. You're muted. I can't hear you.
This is not the softball field. This is the renovation of the tennis courts at the high school. Last year, we were able to renovate the courts over at Norwalk High, and this is the same project. It's at a different school site to redo the 6 tennis courts at their location. There is an issue with drainage around the area there, around the courts, where they've been getting some of the dirt and silt washed onto the tennis courts. So this actually addresses resurfacing the courts as well as adding new drainage around the fence, which will alleviate the issue. And this was a capital project that was approved last year in the capital improvement plan.
Gotcha. And this is the same company that did the fields over at Norwalk High? Same material?
Yes, it went out to bid and they were the low bidder.
Now, as far as the material that's being used, I know we've spoken about this in the past. I'm sorry, I don't know if anybody else wanted to add. I didn't want to I know as far as the materials being used right now, it's been questioned several times in the past. We've seen all the reports. Since we've done the fields at Norwalk High, I personally haven't heard anything as far as wear and tear problems.
Wait, we're talking about the basketball court, not the athletic field.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sorry, we're talking about the tennis courts.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The issue, we're using a post-tension concrete system here for the courts themselves, and they actually have a longer lifespan. I think it's 25 years guaranteed. So that's the material we're using on the tennis courts. I think the issue you're alluding to is more so the turf fields. That's a separate project.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
problem.
Any other questions? Okay, so motion to approve the item, I should have read, I'm sorry, B, which is the same thing, which just is the change orders, if you don't mind. So 5AB, authorize the Director of Recreation and Parks to execute change orders on contract with Classic Turf Company LLC for project 4073, Brian McMahon High School tennis courts for a sum not to exceed $43,500, account numbers noted. So we're going to approve that item. All in favor? Abstention? Opposed? George T, you approve?
Of course.
Okay. So we're moving on to 5.2A, Authorize Mayor Harry W. Brillen to enter into contract with Diamond Landscape and Athletic Fields for project number 4072, Calf Pasture Beach softball fields renovation for a sum not to exceed $43,524. Account numbers noted. And to be authorize the Director of Recreation Parks to execute change order on the contract for Diamond Landscape and Athletic Fields for project number 4072, Calf Pasture Beach Softball Fields 3 renovation for a sum not to exceed $4,352. Account numbers noted. Just want to move the item. Keegan, you want to talk a little bit about this, Nick?
Yes, so this is another one of our capital improvement projects that was funded through the budget process last year. Those fields have never been regraded or resodded. They have issues with drainage. The water tends to pond on the first and third base lines. So this will actually remove the lips that are there and then resod the infield and then regrade the entire field. We're looking at redoing a lot of these, our athletic fields, because again, we had issues in the past about the field conditions. But again, we've never regraded any of these fields, never resodded them. And this is one of our most popular sites. It's the biggest site right now as far as the number of fields in one location. And that's why we decided to start with this project last year in the capital process. This went out to bid. We had a number of submittals, and this is the low bid for $43,524, which comes in under budget.
Any questions for Nick? No? Oh, okay, Tom?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just Nick, quickly, do the geese present a problem for you
Yes.
with the maintenance of these fields? Okay.
Yes, the geese are a constant issue there. We have a contract with Geese Relief where they come out and they have the dogs chase them away. But that only happens when the dogs are on site. We actually tried a new product this year called Geese Away, which is almost like a solar powered subsonic device that's being installed around the fields. We're trying that this year to see if that helps with the issue, because the Geese Relief contract is pretty expensive. I think for the entire year, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000, which is crazy. But everyone along the coast of the Sound has the same issue. All the parks departments have the same issue. We're trying a new product, trying to address it that way. We had good results at a smaller field, and we're going to evaluate it in the springtime.
Thank you.
Yes,
John?
sir.
Nick, a few years back, I remember we actually approved the, I don't know, best way to put it, elimination of the geese at the beach.
Yep.
Is that still in place?
I'm not sure exactly the term elimination. I know.
Like-
My superintendent Ken Hughes mentioned that they were one particular type of geese that we weren't able to chase away. But I think we get 3 different types there. We have to do it in a humane way. That's why we use the dogs. That's why we're using this device, so it doesn't harm them in any manner. But I'm not sure of any other programs we had in place that we eliminated them completely.
No, I mean, by elimination, I mean, we put them down.
Yeah, I don't.
No?
I don't
Okay.
know.
I thought we were on
I
the
don't
same
know
page.
anything of that. Nope.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why we use the dog. I think it's the most humane way of doing it, because I believe one of the types of ducks there is a native. So they of course go in packs. So we can't single out one versus the other. So that's why we run the dogs as the most humanely way to do it.
Thanks, Nick.
No problem.
Any other questions for Nick? Okay, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions? George?
Yes.
All right, so this is probably the quickest meeting on record maybe, but before we close, so one other thing is, I'm not sure what the final decision has been, and Mr. Kites, you might know, but we are talking about not having a meeting in this, the next council meeting for this month, right?
According to Nick, yes, we are. He is canceling the next meeting in December.
Just, okay. And so this will then go on our January council meeting agenda. All right. So we're going to move on to discussion, and we're just going to briefly talk about what Diane Lauricella mentioned in the public participation piece. And so I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Serenides, who is the chair of the DPW committee. And let me say this, we've been talking about this for a few days, at least I have, and others have probably had more extensive conversations. But my understanding has been that this issue did not lie with Recreation Parks, but rather with DPW. And so I think it's only appropriate for us at this point to continue with that process, if that is the process and the way that it is laid out. And with that, I just want to turn it over to Councilmember Serenides, if you have some words to say.
And Madam Chair, before we
Sure.
do that, I do want to mention too that the Parks and Rec Department is part of DPW. It's not it's not separate from DPW. So when we say DPW, it includes operations, includes engineering, and it includes Parks and Rec as well.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Madam Chair. And I agree. In an effort to make this more transparent and keep everybody in the same loop, I have no problems with the Public Works Committee and the Parks and Recs Committee working together on this. I think it'll help transfer the information in a more smooth way possible. That being said, I understand this is a very frustrating topic for several people. Unfortunately, it came to us at the very end of, or towards the end of where the project's going to have to get started. It goes beyond just the city. It involves Eversource, the power company that services everybody over here, and they have their regulations and guidelines they have to follow. We understand that, and we do understand and hear the concerns of the citizens. What we're going to do, and obviously we have to work on this a little bit further. We can't hastily make a decision here and now. With Mrs. Young and other council members and obviously department heads, we're going to figure out a better way where we can relay this information ahead of time to the public to give them more time to weigh in with any suggestions or ideas they have and include more individuals in the decision making. We hope to have something a little bit more detailed to discuss next month.
And thank you, Councilman Serenides. And I just want to thank you, Nick, for all of your time and energy that you put into this issue, and just appreciate that all that you're doing, and others. So
Thank you.
the next thing is what? A motion to adjourn, unless someone else has any other comment. And I don't think that we want to continue with the commenting on this. I think this whole issue will move forward in the fashion and in the process that has been set up. But we will address how we communicate with residents and address their
Happy
concerns.
holidays, Nick, Darlene, Larry.
Thank you, dude, as well.
I'm
Have a
sorry?
good holiday.
All right,
Holiday all.
thank you. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Holidays, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Same to you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.